Hello and welcome to Weird Christianity, where three friends, and today it is three, share three facts over one lunchtime, and it's brought to you by YMCA Exeter. Around the table today we are, go for it.
My name's Chris, hello.
My name is Becky.
Hello, and my name is Jeremy, and without further fuss, let's have fact number one from Christopher.
No, brilliant. So, my fact is there is no such thing as an evil colour, or is there? Well, this question was posed to me by my son, and he always wanted to look at, he said, Daddy, why is Darth Vader or any bad guy dressed up in black and has a red lightsaber? I thought, that is a good point.
Sorry. I think in Weird Christianity there is a Christian thing, and as far as I
get to that.
As far as I know, while Jedi is a religion, is not part of the Christian.
I will get to that, but I thought that's a really good question because he was asking. Sorry, I should have said, Daddy,
is that your fact? Darth Vader is Christian?
But no, my thing was he was genuinely asking, like, is there in the Bible, does it talk about, where does this idea come from? So I looked at it and I thought about it, and I did some research, and actually there's lots of different reasons for different colours in the Bible, which we attribute to, which is awesome. But so the reason probably that we think black in general culture is representative of evil is actually more to do with the fact that it came from the idea of death and kind of sorrow. I mean, that's why we wear a lot of black at funerals and stuff like that. But interestingly, that's quite a Western thing, because actually in Eastern cultures you wear white, which is so it really depends on where you come from. And red again is kind of seen as this whole, sinful and like passionate colour in normal culture, but in Christianity, actually, that is representing of blood and sacrifice and actually forgiveness. So there's actually a total difference there in terms of how colours representing things, for example.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting how colour are very important, isn't it? In a Jewish tradition, but also it's just like in Irish tradition, green. It's just like you're just going to go in different things. St. Patrick's all green, and then you got blue for Scotland. Yeah, it's just like the red, white, and blue. Very important colour. It means something.
Something.
The blood spilled. Our nation. The white of the royalty, the blue of the royalty, and the white of peace.
I mean,
there is a lot of blood that has been spilled on that flag.
Well, you had a cool fact that you were telling me about blue-blooded. Where does that idea come from? Ooh. So again, like blue-blooded, blue, the particular colour. Were represented the heavens, and when people look up, obviously, not today if we look outside, but normally it's blue. Grey. But normally it's blue, and people would think divinity. And so, if you were blue-blooded, the idea was that you were divine.
And that's why when Mary's depicted, she often wears blue. It's very unlikely that she would have worn blue because blue was expensive.
But it's interesting because actually, you saying that she's wearing blue, but actually ladybirds are called lady birds because it's of Our Lady Mary, because of the coat that they have.
No way, I didn't know that.
And so it's nothing to do with blue, it's just kind of the red and the thing. But that's in different cultures, ladybird is linked to Mary. So in France, it's coccinelle, which that term nothing to do with Mary, but we call it beast of God.
No way.
And if you crush one, you got rainy day. That's so they are.
Don't crush ladybirds, everyone.
Don't crush ladybirds.
Ever.
That's why it rains people. Stop crushing ladybirds. But colours again very important. Just like in those tradition, blood is red. but we have blue vein, and I think just like because they were quite apparent in the royal family, just like blue blood, I think they were also a bit of that. But our blood is red, just so you know, because of the iron. If you have iron deficiency, you are tired because the iron molecule are transporting your blood around, and because iron with oxygen is oxidized iron, and oxidized iron becomes red. That's why your blood is red, and that's why if you go to some sea animals, their blood is greeny blue because it's transported by copper and not by iron.
Interesting.
There we go. So
I went through like loads because I think there's loads of colours in the Bible that represent different things. So there's like purple. Lydia had purple robes in Acts, and that was like a symbolising like her wealth and things. And then in my quick research that I did for this, there was I found a really cool one which I think is really awesome, which was like the colours representing the story of Jesus, which is like black, so they make little bracelets with little beads to tell the story of Jesus, which is really cool. And there's like, so black is like sin and death, so it's a bit like the 4 points, if you ever seen the 4 points, and then it's red to like represent the blood of Jesus, and then blue for like spiritual baptism and being born again, and then green for like Christian, like growth and like what you do after you become a Christian, and then gold is like eternal life, so what happens when you die, which is really cool. And then you can get little bracelets and you can tell the story of Christianity through and your journey through colours, which is really cool.
If you're colourblind, you can't be a Christian.
That's what you're saying.
That's what, that is the only
and this
evil.
Is black, no, this is not black.
That's a bit difficult today. It's in response to kind of my son's thing, there isn't, we all pull out different things, but actually when you look at the Bible and you look at how what Jesus talked about and what the colours that come out, no, there isn't a specific colour that is considered evil and stuff like that. That's purely stuff that we have brought meaning to since they're going on. There are, there is some stuff in the Bible, like particularly on a rabbi's robe, I think it's a rabbi's robes, or maybe it's a priest's robe, like the blue tassels.
On any Jewish person, will, if they are practicing Jews, they will have some tassels that are, there is blue in it, and that is very important. And it's believed that is what the woman who touched the tassel of Jesus, that's just what she was touching, this very tassel. What is very interesting is that black is probably less of an issue for us because the Bible talks a lot about darkness and just kind of this idea that things would come into the darkness and be careful of sleeping and blah, 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 and all these kind of things, or during the night.
Exactly,
and things. They didn't have a lamppost at the time, just putting it out there, it's just like... nights could be quite dark, it's just like, you've got the light of the moon sometime, but if it's a clouded night, it can be quite dark. So I think we are forgetting in our Western culture sometime all this kind of, why is it linked to those kind of things? Actually, it is very dangerous to go in a dark alley at night if there is no street lights. It's just like, because you can be jumped on. And that would happen also in ritual of just kind of asking for forgiveness. You would put some black ashes on your face. Those mourning would just kind of related to the black ashes of a fire being extinguished, a life being extinguished. So there is a lot of things that are there. But colours, colour of the sky, yellow was just like either in the Old Testament. Yellow is the same word for gold or yellow. It's just like
that's amazing.
Like, so you don't know if Solomon had everything in yellow or everything in gold.
It one would be cheaper, of course.
Also, I really love imagining just like painting everything yellow. I'm really enjoying that like imagery of just paint. Like gold's one thing, having like lots of gold everywhere. That's like really gold. But then just having yellow. I don't know, like we've had people recently that decided that yellow painting, thinks yellow is a really good thing and actually brings lots of joy and lots of life to things.
I think the Beatles went for the yellow submarine for that very reason.
It
was not a yellow submarine, it was a golden submarine, and it sunk because it was too heavy. The story of the Beatles.
Hashtag prove that. So that was my fact, and Zeke, if you're eventually listening, I hope you hear all the fun we've had discussing this fact.
Well, fact number 2, and that is Becky.
Great. So my fact is there are 185 songs-ish in the Bible, which is like I got that ish.
Whoa.
Over 185 songs in the Bible.
I checked yesterday.
Yeah.
Some 150. So where do you get the others?
Yeah,
come on.
Well, I'll get to that.
Okay.
There are 185 songs in the Bible, most of which are in Psalms. Most of which being the word. The word Psalms means songs sung on a harp. Most of the songs in Psalms were written by David, and David was known for playing the harp.
Been doing it wrong all this time.
Yeah, like, I would like you, if anyone does play the harp out there, just throwing out there, I'd really love to see some of the Psalms played on the harp while being sung. I think that'd be really interesting to see.
I think it would have probably to be in the original language.
Yeah.
Also, harps are few and far between. So I've got a few friends who play the harps.
Yeah.
And you've got the big orchestra harps, which is massive. It's just a massive instrument. But the string instrument that David would have is very different. Probably more like Asterix and Obelix type.
Okay, yeah. Because to go and play that for the king each time that he had to do that. Come on, we live.
Show to your 12-year-old kid. Just like carrying the massive harp.
So
Jeremy's right. There's only 150 psalms. It's 150 songs in Psalms, which is about 80% of the ones in the Bible. There's obviously Songs of Solomon, which has got some songs in it as well.
Yeah, of course.
Moses sung some songs. And Moses was the first person in the Bible to sing a song, so there's some in Exodus.
Actually, it's Moses and the people of Israel.
Yeah. And so the longest song is 1,732 words long. Do you know which one that is?
Psalm 119.
Yes.
119.
Knowledge.
And the shortest song, which I actually don't know where this verse is in the Bible, is 7 words long.
7 words long.
Is that 117? Some 117?
No, it must be
very short. I don't think it's in Psalms. I think it's in a different book. I did look it up and then I've forgotten to write it down.
Wow.
But yeah, it's like they're
Tell you what, Google it, guys.
And you don't we often go, the songs in the Bible they're all in Psalms, but actually when you start to look at it, there's like Moses song, and then you've got Songs of Solomon, which is another complete book of songs, and then also there's some in like the prophets as well. So it's not like it's very like they're not just in Psalms, although 80% of them are. But it's quite like I like the fact that there's a lot of singing in the Bible. I quite like a singer. I enjoy singing. I also really like it when worship songs are like psalms, because that's like a really good way of learning the Bible. And it's been proved that you're more likely to remember something if you sing it. Which is really fun.
It is interesting, isn't it? Because I for one, I'm not a massive person who connects with song. I just I don't particularly. That is not how I connect with God. I know a lot of people do connect with God through worship, song, and that kind of things. It's not that I don't connect that way, but I feel that there is a lot of onus on song, and there is a lot of things on singing and stuff like that. And I don't deny that is very, very important. But the caveat is that what we have here is just like some, as has been reminded by a friend not so long ago, it's just like it's us is one of the rare parts of the Bible where we are talking to God, and that is how almost we're just kind of talking to God. It's just like God hardly talked to us in song; we are talking to Him in song, and I think it's a language that God really connect with. It's a way of communication that very connect with. But what is very interesting as well is that we're looking at the psalm. Partly they're not in the original language, so the way that it does flow is very different. But also, it would sound very different to us because we are all about rhyme, just like in most songs. In English, I just love it that you just kind of make up rhyme. And now
we love a rhyming song.
Rhyming
Gotta
song.
have a rhyming song.
A rhyming song, it's just like this thing where you just like have A and ER rhyming. I mean, it's just like only English does that. It's just like you're gonna, I'm gonna. It's just like What?
Yeah, mumble rapping, really not a fan of.
I mean, it's just like that is pretty impressive. However, if we are looking at the song in the Bible, there is a lot more differences, and it evolves through the Bibles as we go along. You know, the way that we see song being written in some is very different than the one that we find in Revelation. At the end, you know, it's just like there is an evolution of things. Rhymes has been brought by the Norman to England. Before it was
I wonder what we
alliterations. So before that, the Anglo-Saxon way of doing poem was alliterations. So it's just like you know.
I can imagine romance looked a bit different then in two sentences, because it's just, I'm just gonna let me recite a poem to you. And
I mean,
it's
some of the poems that are, you know, some of the old poems are quite nice in alliteration in Old Anglo-Saxon. However, we the Norman, and I say we because I am
French.
Like the original
brought that to you. So the reason why you are so popular with song people from America and England is because of the French.
Memory verses were a really big thing when I was a kid and growing up. But the verses that I still remember today are the ones that I learned to sing. So I can sing verses. I can recite verses because I learned them in song. So that is, for me, that's like a massive connection that I've made. So there are verses that I know, I'm not going to sing them. You're like looking at me like,
I am waiting.
There are verses that I know.
For Jesus so loved the world.
I will rescue those that love me. I will protect those that trust in my name. Psalm 91 verse 14. And that is because I know a song that goes to those words. So that is,
Well, most people, all joke apart, most people will remember, even though they don't know, some about the Good Shepherd, the Lord my Shepherd, because of songs.
Because of the song,
Lord my Shepherd,
which you learned in primary school here.
Or even better, in the river of Babylon, which is a psalm, people. It's just it's just like.
I've just got so much going through my head right now.
I was like so many primary school assemblies where you had to sing songs that were based on scripture that you suddenly realise that, like, once you start reading the Bible.
And the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Oh, my days.
Oh, such a good song.
Thank you, St. Peter. It's like, it's stuck in my head.
But that is your background, because we didn't do anything.
Really?
No. It's just like the state is separated in France from the church. Therefore, it's just like all churches, even though started mostly by the Protestant movement, in France, truly were taken out. So all Christian elements were just kind of taken out. So I had to learn the national anthem. So all of our blood sipping into fields. Just like, whoa. Let's go for the gore.
Wow. That is amazing.
Quite the turnaround there.
But what I love is like
you have tree clapping their hands. We don't.
Oil in my lamp. Trees clapping their hands. Lord of the Dance. Which has no biblical reference at all.
Just like just really
all
takes
of these primary school things.
Talking about songs that have no biblical reference. Jerusalem.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. No reference at all.
And do you know what I found not so long ago? It was because a group of monks wanted more people to give money to the monastery. So they just kind of said, do you know what, mate? Let's pretend Jesus came here.
I'll just put out there, in the bleak midwinter. What? Just what? No.
So apparently he came as a kid with Joseph. Joseph was, worked in carpentry and needed some tin. And where are the tin mine? Cornwall. So that's the idea. So Jerusalem. Not sure how credible that is.
But I'm sure. So it's not one of the 185.
So that is my So that was my fact for today, which was that there are 185 songs in the Bible, most of which were in Psalms.
Boom! And thank you for that. And it leaves my fact for today is that Moses and Aaron, cleromancer.
I have no idea. Can I say I googled it and there's no, because I was like, what is this? I had no idea what that was.
You probably misspelled the word cleromancer.
But then I spelled it the way that you said it in the email, so I've misspelled it.
Cool. So you trust a foreigner to just get a spell right.
I'm assuming it's obviously not necromancer, but something like manipulating.
Yeah,
something.
so necromancy, for people out there that may not know, it's all about necro dead. So just kind of consulting the dead.
Just throw it out there,
putting it out there. Yeah. And cleromancer, it's about casting lot. So
lot. Okay.
We changed the spelling of it and and that's what we found, that there was something to do with lots.
Yeah, casting lots, not lot.
All my research about necromancy. It
would be good for one judging in practice. You know what I mean? It's just like
I'll save it for another Christianity.
For another thing. So yes, the idea of just kind of leaving it to almost chance to just kind of do that. So casting lot is a very big thing in the Bible, and some people, just like, well, is that the same as lotto? Because of lottery, lot, casting lot, lottery, the same word. Also very interesting. So cleromancy, clergy.
Ooh. Casting lots for them.
So interesting.
So the idea is...
I mean, that would explain some appointments. But okay.
So the idea is...
Sorry, everyone.
Sorry.
Or not. So it's the idea. So kleros was the Greek name, where the etymology of the word comes from. And there is clergy, and because it's also kleros is inheritance as well as lot, because usually inheritance was sometimes put in lot. It's just kind of you just kind of casted lot to have inheritance.
Lot number. Blah, 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 blah,
like there is that. I'm not sure if that comes from, but I think it's more about sometimes dice were cast, and depending the Urim and Thummim in the Bible in the Old Testament, that is what was used a lot to just kind of find the will of God. So the idea is that God is in control of everything, and God is in control of even this kind of what we now call chance. And the chance concept comes from the god of chance, which is a Greek and kind of god that has been introduced later on.
Interesting. So what kind of things were they casting lots for?
Well, in the Bible, they casted lot for... So there is a lot of evidence of it from Moses and Aaron in the Old Testament. They were just kind of using the Urim and Thummim for a very, very long time. They were casting it to just kind of make choices. They cast lot to find out the 12 disciples to replace Judas. They cast lot to
Matthias.
They casted lot to
Jesus' garments.
Which is very interesting. Which is a very interesting segue about colour, because it's just like, while before, colours were one of the most expensive things. So if you had a purple robe, that was very expensive, therefore some people could afford it. And it went on for a very, very long time. But also, then it became how garments were made. How much cloth could you have in order to make one garment, or did you need quite a lot of cloth coming in? Because the Romans were just kind of cast a lot and just kind of didn't want to cut it in four. So that means that actually they had a lot of pieces of cloth that they were putting together, probably not the same colour, to make one clothes. So you probably will have a lot of patchwork garments that were made at that time. However, you have all this kind of casting of lots. The best that I found not so long ago is that in America in 2000, a judge decided to make a decision on which was that the people...
Not a serious... Like, this can't be
this is a massive... Oh, well, thankfully he's not death row.
I was going to say,
such a beautiful thing that he just kind of said, well, the solicitors will have to go outside and play rock, paper, scissors to make the decision.
My risky.
Wow.
That is not the way we recommend making decisions if you're in a place where...
I think it was just like... 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and it was like, well,
but
it doesn't really matter which way it goes.
Even today, we still have that though. But normally, it's about kind of making a decision you don't want to make, but you kind of already have in your head. Have you ever done that thing where you've potentially done this with someone? Is you flip a coin, hold it, but you don't actually tell them. They go, so like heads it's one decision, tails it's another. You flip the coin and go, before I tell you, what's the one that you're actually hoping for? And people go, oh, actually I do know now, it's that one that I want. And just kind of that, it's that almost like it's been taken out of my hands and I'll be forced to do because of this arbitrary thing, forces you to like, I don't want to do that, I want to choose myself. And you've already actually got an idea in your head already. Like, so, it's interesting that even now we still sometimes leave things up to chance, shall I say. Yeah. But
it's like, all I'm thinking is, heads I win, tails you lose.
No, the classic friends. Yeah,
like that is all I get when I say I'm going to flip a coin about something. I go, heads I win, tails you lose.
Yeah,
and I always lose for some reason.
Yeah, and how is that? Yeah, and then sometimes they always win. Oh man, it's
so annoying.
But you can't call a con man. It's like now you know that.
It is a very interesting thing to just I have got a friend who'd be like, if you just kind of head or tails, the guy here's just like so on calculation and game theory and things like that.
No way.
Well, let's look at the statistics of what it may be. It's just like
I just wanted to flip a card.
Out of it. Yeah, just like whatever.
How biblical do you think it is to like leave stuff like? Because I like sometimes it's a challenge for us, isn't it? Like. I always sit there and go, that's like challenging me, because we often go, oh, we shouldn't leave things up to, like, we don't leave things up to chance, God's in control and stuff. But like, and they're not necessarily leaving things up to chance, like we've talked about how we believe that God's in control of everything. But for me, like, that goes against a lot of the stuff that I've been taught, like a Christian, saying actually you shouldn't like gamble or cast, like that kind of stuff.
Deuteronomy, it talks about that,
it's like, that's a challenge, right, for all of us to say actually like,
I mean, maybe it plays a bit into like what it talks about, like we're getting into a Bible study now, but like where it talks about it, like in the Bible, I think it's like in Ecclesiastes or Lamentations, that like just because I'm rich, it doesn't necessarily seem that like my son will be or whatever, and actually, it's all up in the air. Not everything is meaningless, although that is a common refrain, but kind of like things change, and like it's not always. I guess it's saying that like whilst for a season and for a time things are solid, perhaps it isn't. I mean, we've gone pretty heavy pretty quickly there, but I think it's an interesting one.
I think it's how it's framed, isn't it? It's just like we use the Gideon's fleece and you're just going to say, that's God. It's just like, that's very Christian.
And he did that twice.
Yeah,
he was just like, I heard from you and God did it perfect. That's amazing. He did it perfectly. We'll expand on the story another time, but like God did it perfectly once, and Gideon was like, could you do it again, but like the opposite of what I did, and then I'll know. And God did.
The thing is, just like we want that kind of idea that things are taken out of our hands and not, and things like that. I think it's just like because of the culture influence, and because of how the world was invaded, and part of the world was invaded by different people with different gods. It's how we now understand the term chance, but before it was just kind of Lot, and Lot was just kind of, God was in control of all this in the concept of the Jewish tradition. It was just like, well, actually, I don't know how to make a decision. I'm happy. I'm okay 50-50. Well, actually, I'm not okay 50-50, but God has not been clearly telling me, because he was very much talking to Moses, but on some instances didn't. It was just like, let's cast a lot, let's just kind of do that. And it would be in the hand of God. Well, now it's just like, we cast a dice. It's just like, it's in the end of chance. So I think it's just like,
maybe it's an attitude then.
Well, I think sometime in some circumstances it's just like, well, thank you, Oliver, who just kind of reminding me the name of the judge, Gregory Pressel. What a legend!
That's an awesome name.
In 2006, so not that long ago.
No, that's really not.
For the rock, paper, scissors. 2006, American federal judge Gregory Presnell.
Federal, that's not state. That's the whole country.
That's his pretty cool
you
one.
gotta be
Yeah.
like quite
From the Middle
confident.
District of Florida, order opposing sides play a game of rock, paper, scissors in order to settle where the two lawyers would conduct the deposition of a witness.
You've gotta be quite
Choices
confident
where the
either
building
way.
where they both work, 4 floors apart, or a court reporter's office down the street. So it was not about the overall decision and the end decision, but it was just like, do you know what, mate? I don't really care,
I don't care.
where the witness deposition is going to happen.
I
But
have
if you
other
want-
important things to
if
do.
you're behaving like kids, let's include rock, paper, scissors. But what is interesting here is that I think sometimes there are things that don't matter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it's okay to just kind of say, do you know what? It doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter. Yeah.
You know,
And
head
it-
or tail type
and it-
situation.
It puts God in his proper perspective, doesn't it? Like for us as Christians, is if he's truly the God of everything, then he's going to be the God over.
Yeah,
we know
he
when
might
it
not
comes
want
to
you to
sometimes.
win £10 million at the lottery.
What?
But hey, anyway, that was my fact, and my fact was that Moses and Aaron were both cleromancers.
Awesome stuff.
And before we go, I need to say that you can find us on Instagram as at Weird Christianity or Weird Zinity. I mean, it's
I
just
think
like
you said that right.
yeah. I think so. It's WEIRDXINITY on Twitter, or the other new name for Twitter, which
X.
It's
X.
Everyone calls it Twitter though, but
It's,
That one.
it's one of those things. It's just like, it's going to be Twitter. Isn't it?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mars.
And at Weird Christianity Pod on Facebook. Please don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast provider. And don't forget, you can find out more about YMCA Exeter at ymcaexeter.org.uk or find us on social media at YMCA Exeter. And the reason for it is because this very podcast is brought to you by YMCA Exeter. Very important. Very important for you to know what it is about. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye, guys.